Oh, I am exhausted. I'm just gonna talk. Doesn't matter if anyone's in the building, though. Seems like one person is. Today is Saturday, the 12th of July, as I'm sure everyone knows. I'm competing tomorrow at Stratford, and it's big because tomorrow is the deadline for the qualification standards for England nationals, England athletics nationals in the 100. I qualified for the 200, 21.83, but my PB of 11 flat is not enough to get me in to the 100, which is 10.9. And I ran a 10.88, I think it was 10.88 or 10.86, I think it was 10.88, but it was wind assisted, it was a 2.4 wind. And my entire season, I've had a lot of races where if the wind was like a plus 1.8, let's say, I would have done it. And I had one race where I had a 1.9, but I wasn't in shape. I came off food poisoning, so we never got the job done. We ran 11.07 there, I believe it was. That was the, I can't say because the video hasn't come out yet. But last chance now. This is it. If I can't get it done this time, then we are only going to be going for the two, which makes it seem not too depressing, considering the fact that even if I don't pull off the 100, I'm still going to be going nationals. But I want to go for both events because other than Wales, this is the first, this is the first real national meet where there's a selection process where for you to go, which is just the basics of qualify or don't qualify. And the closest thing similar to that would be Bucks, and for Bucks, I've only ever gone for the two, even though I had the fastest PB in the 100. Though at the time, it wasn't on paper that I was. I was already faster on paper, but it wasn't clear by how much. They only found out after the selection process for Bucks was done. My athletics team, but I've always done 200s at nationals, but I'm a really good 100-meter runner. So why is it that I can run a 200 that should mean I'm running a 10.8 in a 2, but we can't run like a literally just a 10.9 flat in a 100, just 10.9. So I'm putting out a lot of work, and I want to say I've done enough to do it. I should have done enough to allow me to run 10.9 with my coach. He's changed what I do at about 50 meters. He's trying to say I'm trying to accelerate the entire run, and I need to just accelerate up to top end, open my stride, and then the velocity I've gained from accelerating will make the stride start to speed up, and then I'll hit a higher top end, and then from there just hold that, and that comes down to a mix of relaxation and how I move through my hips. So trying to make sure that we can pull that one off. But I'm not sure, I'm not sure if it's going to work because it's foreign, if that makes sense. It's foreign. When it comes to competing, if you look at any of my PB races from years prior or even recently, you'll see that every single time I'm just muscling through. I drive hard, I transition hard but smooth, and then when I'm upright, I just keep hammering hard and I just go. But this is the first time where it's properly been introduced to me where I need to just keep doing the same things I've always been doing, but the way I hit the ground needs to change. Scoop the ice cream. You're going to hear that a lot in my next few videos, sorry, but I just need to scoop the ice cream, and I figured out, without spoiling too much about the videos that are going to be coming out, that I've been looking at the process too simply. I've been trying to pull it off through the wrong method. The mental thought process is kind of there, but how I'm trying to do it is wrong. That is literally the question that I've been trying to answer because I know how to engage my glutes, but the issue is I don't let my glutes go through the full range of motion. The way you engage your glutes is very simple. If you think of Stu McMillan, he does something where he says, okay, stand up and imagine you're like a rag doll, for example. So you just limp. When you're limp, everything's gonna stop and just droop down. But imagine there's a string attached to your head. Imagine that just pulls you up. And it pulls you up, your chest is gonna rise, your head's gonna rise, and then your hips are gonna rise, your legs are gonna rise. But the main important thing is the hips. When the hips are dropped down, regardless whether you're in acceleration or top end, you kind of can't engage your glutes properly because they're not in the right position. When your hips are down, you're more in a concentric position, which means your hamstrings are gonna have to take over with your quads. When you want it just to be your hip flexors and glutes doing the work. When your hip flexors and glutes do the work, it doesn't feel that intense. Like you know you're moving quick. Maybe you wouldn't even feel like you're moving quick. But when you use it properly, there's not much. Oh, I have to try really hard. It's just relaxation, really. You're just flowing, moving down the track. So if any point your hips drop down, your hips are used less and your hamstrings are used more. And I think that's part of the reason why I ended up getting my hamstring injury indoors, because I relied too much on my hamstrings. They were firing too early, and then because of that, for too long. Because when you use the right muscle at the wrong time, as in this case with my hamstring, it's firing earlier than it's supposed to, but it's still got to keep firing when it's supposed to. Which means if it's only supposed to be doing work for half a second, now it's doing work for an entire second, which is just not right. Yeah, what are you telling me? Repeat with some. I'm good. But yeah, back to the story. I don't actually remember where I was, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, and with the glutes, I just need to be more patient with my strides. If I'm more patient with my strides, I can get some hip extension. When I'm not patient with my strides, I have great hip flexion, but a hip extension is pretty much non-existent. We're running fast purely from a front side mechanics viewpoint, and I need to do something about that. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Well, what I have done over the last week. I got a little sleep over this, but I think I'm ready. So today it's 3:58. Kind of hard to see. Where do I go up? It's 3:58. Yeah, 3:58, 59, and I've got to do a shakeout session, and then I'm gonna be going back to London. So the shakeout session, I can share it because it's a new experiment I'm trying. The shakeout session is one. Let's try and find it first. Ooh, where is it? Where is it? God, that's not good. I actually need that thing. I tried. I don't know where it is. I have to find it. I'm gonna keep looking right now, but the shakeout session was supposed to be like 70%, and the focus is on I think it was acceleration, and there might have been some upright mechanics, but the effort is really light. There's not much difficulty in doing any of the sessions. Found it. Okay, so it's just 4 things, like 4 reps. So 2 times 20 build ups at the same percent, and 2 times 50 strides, also at the same percent. So not too easy, but also not too hard. And I've also got A skips and fast legs as a warm up, and that's it. So that's a really short session. I could even show it to you guys right now, but um, I don't know where I'm gonna do it. I think I'm doing grass. Well, not really, because I need to eat. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing today. I actually need to move this because this is not supposed to be here. Do that on my Mac later. But yeah, the plan is the 10-9 flat. I need to run 10-9 flat, or else. Or else. I don't know. But if my coach is correct, based off of how I've been running, 10-9 might not be the focus. We might be looking at, I think anyway, a 10-7, if I'm correct, which would be cool. Which would be cool. Because I've got the acceleration to run a 10-7 low, but maybe even a 10-6 high. But things just. Oh, I'm just really tired. Things just haven't been working well beyond 50 meters. Because at the start of the season, I was mainly getting into races with people my level. Like, we go bit by bit. My season opener was people my level. And then my next race was Bucks, which is people beyond my level. But there's a lot of people my level in each race. So at Bucks, I was in the 200. In the heats, I came third. And I mean, the person who came second to beat me, he wasn't that far ahead of me. He was jogging, so I don't know his actual intensity. I messed up my bend like usual, so that we're probably on the same level. And I actually think our PBs are now the same ish. And person who came first, Jevon, he won the whole thing. So I'll get back to that though. So only one person I had to deal with. I saw him also in the semis. I don't remember where I placed. But I was near the end coming off the bend, and I came, I think, fifth, or I want to say fifth by the end of it. So, again, people around or below my level don't have much difficulty with any part of my race, obviously. I mean, that's just how things are. But then when I get to people that are at my level or surpassing it, I run into this weird thing, which is I can match them. It's not like I can't match them. Um, if you go back to Devon, his acceleration is just slightly better than mine. If you look at how we both raced last time we competed against each other, he was actually, I think I got out on him at the start, and then he reeled me in and then went past me. But it took about 30, 40 meters to like get the gap wide. No, not even wide, but just wide enough to the point where you can tell he's gonna start to move and I'm gonna start to fade. Um, unless like I don't know, but I've known there's something wrong with how I'm running, because I can accelerate and keep up with people way faster than me. But once we get to the final 50, that's not the case. And when you look at my 200, I'm clearly better at holding my top end um, than I am at accelerating. Yet the 100 tells a different story. Same with my 60, because my 60 is a 699. Yet my 100 PB is 11 flat, which if you look at anyone who currently has a PB of 699 and has competed in the 100, which is pretty much everyone, they're running 10.8. Fair enough, I got injured, so I'm a lot of the season I've been running around the like 11.1 low, but even still, 11.1 low is sub 11, and I've only had one race that was sub 11, which was my 10.8A, which if you convert the wind, it's just a 10.9A with no wind. How did I progress? Massively. Um, I'm guessing you mean my jump from 12 to, well, 12 almost flat to 11 flat. Um, so the way it worked was the season I ran 11-18, which was in May in Canterbury. I did the pre-season training by myself. So September to December, I was with myself. I stayed on grass. So, and I did a lot of gym training, but that was also by myself. So that's kind of a baseline. I would say I make good gym training plans. I'm very good at making those. Whenever I give someone a gym training plan, even if I make it like half-heartedly, they always make a big amount of progress in sport. So I know for a fact what I gave myself, whilst it's more rough compared to what I'd be able to come up with on the fly now, it was still a good training plan. It accounted for, um, at the time, I didn't exactly know what my weaknesses were, but I knew what I needed to do if I wanted to get faster. Because I just needed to get more power. Because I had power when I was running 12s, but my stride length wasn't there. So in my head, I was like, if I want to run faster, I just need more power, which is true. Which is true. I hadn't really touched the gym properly by that point, so I was doing clean and jerks, snatches. I deadlift occasionally. Back squats. I don't think I touched the front squat that entire year. Did not bench. I did weighted pull ups and weighted dips, and that was like the bulk of my training. The rep schemes were 3 times 3 whenever possible. Most of the time, everything was just a 3 times 3. Never went any higher or lower. And when I met my coach in January, he just looked at me and said, "You're doing this, that wrong." And I was like, "Okay, coach, what should I do? How do I fix it?" That was the main thing, because he said it before. I am a very fast learner, which is part of the reason why I was able to improve so quickly. Because when you've got trash and you're trying to turn trash to something all right, it's not that hard to do as long as you put in the work. So imagine you put in the work and you can learn really quick. Well, obviously the results are going to come really quick, because I went, I met him in January, a week before my Lee Valley meet. No, on the week of my Lee Valley meet where I ran a 7:49, and then I had really tiny strides. Not because I had really tiny strides, but because he was trying to teach me how to use my hips. Um, So I would say no, it was a combination of me being a fast learner with me not being scared to experiment. Like tomorrow, when my coach gives me something, I already know what I'm doing isn't good. I mean, not so much not good, but what I'm doing isn't good enough to get me where I want to be. So if I do something foreign, I don't care what it is, that has a higher chance of getting me to where I want to be. Even if I think it's going to make me slower, than keep doing the same thing over and over again. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. You can't do the same thing and get a different result. That's why every single season that goes by in track, I can continuously PB. Like I've already got my training plan written up until about January or February for the sprints, plyometrics, and the gym, based off of what I've learned from previous seasons and this season, my strengths and my weaknesses, so I can develop. You've got to continuously stay uncomfortable if you want to continuously make progress. My progress has obviously slowed down now because the way I move is too aggressive, I would say, for the way I need to be moving if I want to be quick. But if I can figure out how to do that, then the times will drop massively again. But the way I PB'd by so much, if we're talking about what I actually did, not just me talking stuff that you can't really control, is worked on my hip flexors. That was hip flexor strength and figuring out how to engage my hip flexors. Because like when you get people who don't know how to use their hip flexors properly and they try to sprint or like they try to do any drills involving the hip flexors, they'll do this. Watch my back. They'll hunch, because when they do that, they can pull it not with the hip, but with the quad and with the back. When in reality, you just want to stay tall and then lift it up with the hip. Then you're gonna feel the tension there. And then the next thing was that year, I that was the only thing I did for the front side. For the back side, I literally just squeezed my glutes like really hard. My strides were not quick. I probably had the stats on my Mac somewhere, but my strides were not quick when I ran 11:18 because I could literally feel once I got to about 30 meters, I think, I could feel the glute contractions on every single step. Like it was long and slow. That's part of the reason why I knew I should have been able to go faster that season, but it was long and slow, just long and slow. So it wasn't the best technique, but where I am, I try to figure out what I have that can push me over the edge. Because I think that year I could hip thrust. That year I could hip thrust 290 kilograms. Genetics. That's why. Because that was the first year I ever did hip thrusts, and I started. You can actually check on my Instagram. I started doing, like I think it was either eight. I think it was 80 kilograms. I was struggling, and then about a month or two later, I was doing like 220, 230. And we're not talking pounds, I'm talking kilograms. And I was stunned. But yeah, right now, I should probably be able to do, not right now, because I haven't trained hip thrust in a while, but if I go back the strength again, I should be able to do 300 kilograms. My highest ever is 290. So once I figure out how to engage the glutes, just the massive strength and I guess power gains that I have in that specific muscle, this allows me to get away with a lot of technical inefficiencies. But it's finally run its course now. But that's part of the reason why I just focused on hip flexors and then glutes for the hip extension. That was it. That was it. There was a bit of other mishmash with feet landing and stuff, but there was no real focus on the arms because my coach tends to focus on arms during the winter period, and I wasn't with him. So anything I was doing with my arms when I was training by myself, I was gonna be doing when I was competing. But when I met him, just hips and glutes. That was it. That was the entire focus of what I did. If I did that and I didn't get faster, then I would have found something else to push me over. But I wasn't really engaging my hips properly because the way I use my hips now is a lot more complex than just raising my legs through my hips and bringing them down through my glutes. There's a bit more intricacies from there, but I treat sprinting back then more as mechanical tension and now more like just rolling a ball down a hill. Not to the same degree because I'm not that good, but that's the focus now. Try and just get the acceleration and just roll down the hill. I'm going to catch up on all the stuff that people have asked me. I have graduated. I will not be at Luca, which means that is one more medal for everyone else to get. Because every year I always got a medal, and I'm done. I considered doing a masters, and I've also said no. I am probably going to do a masters, but 2 years from now, and that's when you're gonna see me at Luca. So if you're first year, you're not safe from me yet. And if I'm fast now, I'll be way faster 2 years from now. And I will not be repping Kent. I'll be repping Brunel. That's the plan anyway. I'm not a football player. I don't even look like one. I can't kick a ball to save my life. No problem. They're both important. Bracing and tucking the pelvis are both important, but you need to know when to do what. I don't brace my core because when I brace my core, it just solidifies everything. And I don't want to have a solid core if it means everything else is all over the place. Yeah, there's no energy leakages around here. We can transfer force from the legs to the torso and the torso to the legs, but my hips need to be free to move how they want to move. And when I brace my core, I hunch forwards pretty much, and if I want to sprint, I need to claw my way through. I don't want to be doing that. I just want to just flow. So I tuck my hips. Because if you don't tuck your hips, then your glutes will be sticking out. When you tuck your hips, everything is through and under. It's more about tucking and keeping the glute med engaged than it is about the glute max. And then for the core, I just let that do its thing. Because the core is going to... The core is going to brace when it deems it necessary. So forcing a core brace isn't very important because when your body needs to brace, probably at initial stance, when your foot first touches the ground, it's gonna do that regardless. Just like how if you was going to squat and you go down in the squat and you want to come back up, even if you didn't brace your core before, which you really should have done, your core is gonna brace now to get up because your body's gonna find the most efficient method to get you back up. And bracing your core reduces the amount of power that can leak out, so that's gonna help you get back up. It's the same thing here. So I let brace happen subconsciously or automatically, but I always tuck my hips and try and push it through. I need to, if I do go do a masters, I have to get a gold in every event. At Luca, I just got dogged every year. If it wasn't a silver, it was a bronze. Usually a silver, which hurts the most. But I was just, it was really annoying because first year Luca, I might as well give my Luca story. But yeah, first year Luca, I ran 7:17 for silver. Person who beats me, I think he ran 7:14. That was his first year in the sport. So I was a bit annoyed there. That's the 60. Next, 200. No one told me that just because you win your heat doesn't mean you go to the finals. So I just do enough to win my heat and then I don't get into the finals. And I'm like, I warm up to go to the finals thinking, yeah, I'm going to be in there. Turns out I wasn't, because I wasn't one of the fastest six. Who, like, you had to win your heat, then you had to be one of the fastest six to win your heat. And I wasn't fast enough to jog the way I jogged at the time. If I did it now, I would have got through regardless, but I'm not fast enough. I wasn't fast enough at the time. I think my time was 23:97. I'm joking, I know my time. It was 23:97. If I was to do that again now, I could jog a high 22. Actually, maybe not high 22, a low 23 in the 200 indoors. So, yeah, I didn't even get to go to the finals. If I went to the finals, I think that, I don't remember the times that I won that year, but I definitely would have got a medal. If again, probably would have been a silver. And then the next year, which was that this year? That's this year. I run 7:04 in a 60, and I tie second place, but they beat me just by a smidge. So I get bronze, they get silver, and then in the 200, I'm in lane one. Why I'm in lane one, I don't know. And I don't care. I won that race because in lane one, I came from behind and I got silver. So I got dogged over there too. And then now we get to outdoors. My first year doing outdoors. In the hundreds, I come fourth, and I come like fifth, something like that. But there was two guests. One of them clearly a guest. The other one pretend like he was still at uni. So I didn't get a bronze that time. And then the 200 PBs still wasn't enough. The guy that beat me indoors in the 60 and got that silver over me, same 60 times, 7:04, 7:04. He wins with a 21:7, and I run a 21:83. PB, I'm not upset. That qualified. I mean, I was already qualified, but that was the first time I dipped sub 22, and that really put in perspective that when we go to internationals, as long as I do that again, I'm gonna run really well. But there's always someone there to just ruin the fun for me. Every single time I go to these meets, I'm like, yeah, it's my race to lose. It should be chill. And there's always just someone doing too much. Every time. Every time there's always someone doing too much. And I say that like I'm not part of the problem. I am 100% part of the problem. But even still, why? Why? Like, realistically, at Luca, I should have been the most difficult challenge to beat in the 60, the 200, and the 100. Maybe not the 100. Actually, the 100 as well. If I didn't get my hamstring injury. Yeah, there's just always someone there that just has to just ruin the fun in some way. It was really annoying. But yeah, 2 years from now, if I do a masters at Brunel, I am coming for gold. I hope 2 years from now I'm running like a 10.3, a 20.5, and a 60. That would probably be like a 6.7, maybe a 6 and 6 high. At that point, I don't think you can beat me. Like if I get beaten there, I'm not even gonna do outdoors. I'm just gonna skip it. It's like, what's the point? People that Luke aren't supposed to be fast, and I'm fast running those times I'm losing. Excuse me. What? Hello, hello. I'll say hello. No, I'll say. That's cool. This is what, my 4th year now? We had 12 to 11, 18, 11, 19, 11 flat. Yeah, it's my 4th year. My 4th year. It's been a ride. It's been a ride. It's been 5 years though, but my 4th year competing. It's really sad, because in a week and a few days, I'm done. I'm gonna be done. I'm not gonna be back here, Canterbury, to like living anymore. So I have to move on from my coach, and it's really sad because that's the guy that turned me from trash, like absolute trash, someone where it's like you see their name on your heat sheet and you just skip to the next person and start looking like, okay, are you challenging? To now someone who um was a semi-finalist box indoors and outdoors, um been to under 23 British champs, though 11.5 was enough to go, so that's not too impressive. And I didn't get out the heats because food poisoning. Love that. Qualified to go to English nationals, with a 21.83, which isn't enough to get to the semis because it's seniors, but it's only 2/10 of a second off what should be enough for me to go. So I have a lot of respect for that man because he I had a lot of knowledge, but he transferred his knowledge and my knowledge into speed in my body, and that's something I'm gonna be forever grateful for. Because if I had to do it myself, um, if you go back to the first year I met him in January, I would say, if you put me in 100 before I met him, we would have run 11.8. But you put me in 100 after I met him at Lee Valley on April, we ran 11.68, and I don't know what I did at the start. To this day, because I was supposed to run an 11.5, but I don't know what I did with that start, but I ruined it. So respect, because he put me like 2/10 of a second ahead of what I was expecting to be, and that was with me pretty much jogging the start. So that guy's impressive. Let's find a new coach. I already have ideas on who that's going to be, which is part of the reason why I'm still here, because I need some money. But when I have money, I'm going to move. That's cool. That's cool. Go for it. If you think you can do it, go for it. I actually also want to get my coaching license as well, but I haven't been able to because I need to do it in my club, and they want me to coach. I think it's at least once per week with my club, but I kind of can't do that if I'm not in the same city. I'm not rich enough to be going back and forth, so I have to wait until I'm back, which would be in about a month. Then I'd be able to do it, but I need to see what they exactly they'd want me to do it. So it doesn't interfere with my own training because I'm gonna be training a lot. But yeah, I also plan to do the same thing, but just I guess not for the uni. The uni doesn't need me. They've got the coach that has rewritten I don't know how many athletes. Like I know someone who he was like an 11.5 guy. He's like running 10.7 now. There was a point where I would race him, he was not even in my head. And now if I race him, he's just gonna fly by me. It's just nice to see that other people in my training group are improving as well as with me as well. So I know that when I'm doing something wrong and my coach says I need to do this, I already trust him enough to know it's gonna work, but it just shows me what type of levels it could be because he actually predicted that 10.7 before it happened. My coach did. He said he was running 10.8. He had a 10.8 PB and he was like he should be running a 10.7, and then he did like the same week I think it was, and he said someone else should be running 10.5, 10.6 with me. Neither of us are doing that because we run in a very similar manner, which is heavy on the acceleration. He's a bit shorter than me, so the way he'd have to figure out how to do that is different, but we've got the power to pull it off. It's just we're not doing the right things to get the job done. But he's running 10.9, I'm running 11 flat, so of us, I like to say with the big three, I am the slowest. And there was a point where I was the fastest, so things can change real quick. Apple cider is amazing. Now, I'm from London. Now, the focus is on the 100. Stratford. I don't know why my nose is running. Stratford tomorrow, 2 rounds. There's a live stream. Probably gonna make a post. Might even make it right now. Who knows? Let me find it. Um, I'm gonna make a post. Right now for the live stream because tomorrow I'm gonna be too busy to what do you call it do that because I'm gonna be competing. I think I start. I'm gonna be there by 10. The competition's at 11:50. I'm round third. I'm sorry. I'm heat 13 for the first round. Um, Shit, wait, let me just. Living up the heat sheet. Look at that. Oh no, I can't do that. So yeah, I am heat 13. Competition. I'm competing at 11:50, and 2 rounds. Two rounds at 100. The goal is 10.9. And the execution, the method of execution is very simple. I'm gonna go over it right now. I think the first, actually, let me just do this. Let me just pull up the heat sheet and we can talk about who's in it. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we've got Kwasi Bini or Bini. I'm gonna say Bini. Seasons. I'm not gonna talk about PBs because the PBs does not matter unless it's the season's best. So season's best, 11-12, 11:02 wind. Theo Dankwa raced twice already. 11 flat, me. Yasin Salim Saeed, nothing. Actually, let's go to Power 10, get an answer. Power 10 always have an answer. No. This isn't a guy from the UK. Alec Williamson, 10:87, 10:8 hand time. No, yeah, 10:8 hand time. Kevil Dobbs Niles, 10:96, 10:84 windy. Jamal Chambers, 11:02. Deshaun Clark, 11:38. Why is he here? That's just so random. Why is he in this? Why is he in this heat? That's so random. Why has we got 11-3 guy in this? But whatever. But yeah, I'm in lane 3, and for this heat, my focus is on exactly what I drilled into myself from my coach yesterday, which is accelerate hard, fluidly, and fully. Drive, 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 shift the hips through, transition and rise up, and then right when I feel like I've reached my top end, relax, scoop through the hips, not through the feet, scoop through the hips, the stride length will open up, then the frequency will quickly catch up, and then just walk away. If I'm correct, that will lead to a PB. Not to a win, because if we have this 10:8 guy in 10:8 shape, or even this 10:7 guy who ran 11:02 this season in 10:7 shape, I'm not going to win. But that should lead to a good result. I feel like my PB is so fake, because I definitely had sub-11 races that should be legal, but the wind just wasn't enough, or it was too much, which is very rare. Very rare is it too much, but because three of my fastest 100-meter times, I believe, were either done with no wind or negative wind. Like if I pull up my power of 10, default. My fastest, ignoring my windy 100, my 11 flat was with no wind. My 11:01, I'm not counting that was the heats. My 11:02 was with 0.3 wind. Yeah, 11:03 was 0.5. Okay, never mind. Tend to have positive winds. But I did have an 11:06 into minus 0.5 wind. I cannot gloss over that. Cannot. That was still a good race. That was actually my favourite race, because that was my fastest race. Just I faded really hard at the end. It's a shame, but just need to do what I've been doing again, and hopefully it pays off. Everything that I've learned this week, we need to actualize into speed, because we haven't been, which is really annoying. But I'm not a quitter. If I was gonna quit, I would have quit ages ago. If I was a quitter, I would have quit when I ran 12:2. You know, at English schools, there's a 13-year-old girl who ran 12:02, and here's me running 12:2 at my big 16-year-old age at the time. I don't care if that's my first season sprinting. That's crazy. But yeah, from there, one of two things will happen. The first thing will be it worked. I PB'd. I ran like 10:9 flats, 10:8:9, 10:8:8 hopefully. And it's like, yes, we did it. Now it's time to email English Athletics and let them know I've qualified so I can pay. Or B, it didn't work, which means I'm going to do this the way I've always done this, which is I'm going to run really hard and see what the result is. if I PB, I'll repeat what my coach told me to do. If I don't PB, I'm just gonna do it the way I've always done it, which is run really hard from line to tape. If that also doesn't work, well then there you go. Next week is a focus on 200 for training, because that's the only thing I'm gonna be doing that week. But yeah, I'm quite interested in why I keep getting these weird lanes. I've noticed something, which is I'm always in like a lane 3, 2, or 1. If I was to look over my power 10, I wouldn't know this off the top of my head. No way would I know this, but I could make a guesstimation as to what lane I was in for my races. Because my slower races, I tend to be in the worst lanes. Some meets doesn't matter, like Luca indoors, 704. I think I was in lane 1. If not lane 1, then lane 8. But I think the closest side is lane 1. So I ran 704 in lane 1. I mean, what could you gonna really get that upset about it? And I didn't really care because it was indoors. Like at Lee Valley, lane 1 might as well be lane 5 with the way it is. It doesn't really matter, so I don't care. But my 1103 at Luco Outdoors, that was in lane 1. I got shagged there. I think that could have been a sub 11 day. I didn't even run that well, but that could have been a sub 11 day. But why are you putting me in lane 1? There was genuinely people on an inner lane running like 11-1, 11-2, 11-3. In that range. Don't get me wrong, there were some people running around my PB, but why is it that they get the middle lanes and I get pushed to the sides? It's not the first time that's happened, because for some reason, I don't know, maybe they think I prefer lane 1, but like for the 200 as well, at Wales, they put me in lane 1 when someone slower was in lane 8. I won lane 8. Why would you give me lane? I have nothing against lane 8, you know? I don't mind running blind. I'll just run hard the whole way. If I run a really good race, I'm running blind anyway because everyone's behind me. So I'm just, in my head, I'll just be thinking, I'm running so good, everyone's behind me. I'll just keep doing this, you know? But in lane 1, I just see everyone run away from me. The curve is so tight. It's crazy if you could even run fast. Like, generally, I've only ever run well in lane 1 once. That's it. That was it. And that was Luca Rindos this season. Beyond that, no, not a chance. You put me in lane 1, put me in lane 2, I'm gonna sell for you. Cause why did they put me in these trash lanes? Because when you look at my power 10, you don't know this, but there are a few meets where I don't do that well. Not even because my ability is garbage, but I'm just not in a good lane. Like, let me actually look. So I'm going to focus mainly on championship meets because that's where it matters. SCAA, I was injured in indoors. I'm not going to include that. Bucks indoors, I was actually seeded, weirdly enough. So that was a good one. 200 indoors, lane 6, I think. I ran good in the heats. Then they put me in lane 1. What did I run? 23. That's the only 23 on my entire power 10 for the season. That's how it's gonna stay. Then BFTTA put me in like lane 5 or 4, something like that. Like, those are my favorite lanes. Like 4, 5, and 6. Those are my favorite lanes. Put me in lane 4, 5, or 6. I ran 11:02 whilst looking at the clock at the end. That should have been sub 11. Then they put me in lane 1, around 11 flat. I PB'd, don't get me wrong, I PB'd, but I know with every inch of myself that was a slower race. I was fatigued from the first round on 100, whether I could feel it or not. I had to do more work because everyone knows lane 1 is beaten down. If you don't know why people don't want to run in lane 1, it's because in lane 1, you're going to have people training and competing in the 100, the 200, the 400. Let's start again. The 100, the 100 hurdles, the 110 hurdles, the 200, the 400, the 400 hurdles, now also the 300 hurdles, the 800, the 1500, the 3K, the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, the marathon. It's just, we keep going. They always stay in lane one, and every now and then in training or competition, I'm gonna drift down into lane two, just like to pass people. So lane one's the worst, lane two close second. You put me in lane one. When I was at Luke Outdoors, it's actually a miracle I ran 11:03 because the track is supposed to be even like this. It was like that. So once I step down, my left foot is naturally going to be hitting lower down, shifting my hips down, whilst my right side is going to have to shift my hip back. It was such a bad race. Like, I had to tell myself when I run, I have to drift out to one side of the lane so that I'd be lower down or higher up, because I can't be up and down because I'm not going to be able to run properly. When I ran, I actually forgot to do that because we got called back so many times. I wasn't even able to focus on doing that, but I've always had good races, but I'm never good at giving good lanes to do it. The only time I was in lane one and I didn't care was in Wales, because I'm like the slowest person in this race almost. I'm at the very back. They don't care about me. This is a champs. They don't care about me. They don't care about me running fast. They put me with fast people. That's a blessing enough. So based off of that, it's just like, do your best. And the track was nice. The track was nice. It wasn't like other lane ones where you're in lane one and you're like, oh no, you know? It was like, fair enough. I could run in this, and I did. And I ran fast in it. So I have nothing against that, but that would show more of my ability, because you put me in lane one, it's still beaten down, but not as much. Probably relayed it or something. I ran 11:06 into a negative wind, recently coming off of food poisoning, so my muscle mass was lower. My muscle mass was lower. When I look at all my races, I just see different ways I've just been shagged, and I just had to accept it. Because I know once I run that first sub 11, wind legal, I will never run an 11 again unless I'm injured or it's a heat. But I haven't been given that blessing. I've run a sub 11 once illegally, but what does that even mean? Who cares? I need to do it legally, even like a 10.99. That would change the way I move forever, but whatever. What other race was really bad? Wales again. This time Wales was bad. They put me in lane two. I'm next to David Chapman. He's a high 20 guy. And I'm like, so I already got to tell myself, don't worry, they're not pulling away. You're just in lane two. But now I've got to accept they are pulling away, because lane three's pulling away. And now lane three's blocking everyone else, so it looks like everyone else has pulled away. So that kind of got in my head. Not to say I would have ran faster in a different lane. I would have, but it wouldn't have been by that much. But it definitely affected me, because I don't do 200s often in garbage lanes. So when I'm put in a garbage lane, I don't get to focus too much on my race, because usually I've got like 2 or 3 people on my right and then everyone else on my left, or I'm in the middle, so it's a bit even. So I'm not focused about people running away, as long as no one on my insides past me. That's the real focus. Like when I'm in the middle lane, I'm like, as long as no one on my insides past me, I don't care. You over there, you can run away. Go for it. I'll catch you. I'm hunting you. Because by the time they're an issue, I would be upright about like 50, 60 meters in. And at that point, I'm like, as long as you're not too far away from me, the straight is where I flip the switch. The straight is where you go from first to wherever, I don't care, 5th. I'm going to be first. But when someone passes me on the inside, I already know it's over, because I can't catch you. Unless we're right next to each other. But you've already got a gain on me by doing that. So it's messy, but Yeah, really annoying. Really annoying. People might look at my season this year and be like, he's really happy what he's done. You know, he was running 11 threes last season, and then he dropped down to 11 ones again. Well, 11 1, and now he's running 11 flats like they're going out of business. But I'm like, hey, I should be running 10 already. What's the fastest top end I've clocked? Haven't measured it. Haven't measured it. Because in training, I don't even go that fast. Weird as it sounds, I don't go that fast. Not like I train so maximally, but I'm always trying to move in a new pattern, pretty much. To the point where I have to just learn on the spot, so I never really get to go fast. Um, I've clocked 10 meters per second, 10-meter splits before. Like I think I did it in a 20 or 30 meter fly, which was I think it was November, October or November, and it's in my video. It's actually on my thumbnail. The speed isn't that impressive because that's like 10 meters every second. That is 10 meters every second. Obviously, I've gone faster than that to be able to run 11 flat, but I don't measure myself often, and when I do measure myself, I tend to see garbage time, so I kind of just stop measuring myself because I'll see something like 11, sorry, not 11, like a 1.12 for a 10-meter split, and I'll be like, how? How? I am at top speed. I'm at like anywhere from the 50 to the 60 meters interval of my sprint, and you're telling me I can't even run 1 second, 1.00 or sub that, but I can do that in a race. So I just stopped looking because I never see anything good. The only time I'll time myself is when my coach when I ask my coach, can you time me 100 meters? Because whenever he does that, he's never wrong. Or a 200. Whenever he does that again, he's never wrong. So I'll just trust. I look at that, trust that, and be like, okay, we go with that. Cool, Genesis. I'll see you there. Maybe I don't know. If you see me, come up to me. It's been really cool. This season and last season, seeing how many people from my channel are actually from my channel, whether subscribed or just like seen it in passing, because I've seen, especially this season, like last season I saw a lot of people, and it was just random people, but this season I'm seeing people that I know, I've been paying attention to, I'm trying to compete with, whether they care or not, and they're what do you call it? They're maybe not subscribers, I don't know, but they watch my videos. I'm like, damn, they've got insider knowledge. They've got insider knowledge of what I'm trying to do. But yeah, it's cool meeting everyone. I'm usually like when I'm at a meet, I tend to have a very serious face, so I don't look like you can really speak to me. But if you speak to me, I won't stop talking. I'm quite nice, but you just got to speak to me first. If you don't speak to me, then I won't know that you like my stuff. We become friends. Who knows? I'm quite easygoing like that. Just don't speak to me on the start line. That's the like, when it comes to being at meets, you can speak to me anytime you want. Even during a race. Just don't speak to me at the start line. I am trying to look in. Go away, please. Go away. What are you doing? Or if you're gonna speak to me, don't ask me why PB is. Like, does it matter? Does it matter to you? And if it did, you would know, because we'd have the same heat sheet, and you'd Google me, and my LinkedIn, my YouTube, my Instagram, and oh yeah, my Power of 10 are all gonna show up at once. So yeah, just don't ask me that question, and don't speak to me at the start line. It's a waste of time. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna assume you mean technique. I don't. I'm not. I don't think you mean like mindset or anything like that. Like people always talk about mindset. Who cares? Who cares? Just go and run. Do your best, obviously, but just go and run. But my weakest link, technique wise, is tension. I'm way too tense because my 200 PB shows I should be running at least a 10.8, but my 100 PB tells me No, which means I'm running at least 2 times per second slower than I'm supposed to be. So my weakest link is definitely the tension. I'm actually quite relaxed when I accelerate, because I trust myself to not fall over. And I know if I don't want to fall over, I need to move my legs even quicker. So like me tensing up defeats the purpose, because it means I run slower. I have a higher likelihood of tripping, and just sad times really. But when I get upright, I start to tense up because I'm trying to claw the ground behind me, when that's not what I should be doing. If I moved more like how I do when I'm deep in acceleration, but again with less aggression, I'd do much better. Then my strongest link is easily, never mind. I don't know. I would say I have two. My strongest links are my top end and its maintenance, um, and my acceleration. You've got an athlete who can run a 699 and a 2183. So clearly, this is an athlete who is good on either end of the spectrum. It's just when he goes in the middle, something isn't adding up. But ignore that. I'm good on either end of the spectrum, which is great. So it's just about merging those really for the 100 tomorrow. But yeah, those would be my strongest and weakest links in sprinting, I would say. Technique wise, if you want to do like muscles and stuff, my strongest is easily my glute max, and sorry, just my hip area. So I have really strong hip flexors. I have even strong um, glute maxes. My glute medius are a bit weak. My meniscus is probably also a bit of an issue, and my adductors, the one on the inside, the whichever ductor is with the groin, is my weaker one. Because that's why I got injured this season. I think it's my adductors. My adductors got strained during my when I was warming up for my 699. Then I ran the 699, and it spread to my hamstring. And then my hamstring made it so that the next run I did could be no faster than 718. Also, partially because I didn't know exactly how I was able to run that time. It just came out. Looking back, I know exactly what I did and what I need to do it again in that exact same manner. Not that I'd want to, because that's part of the reason why I got injured. But yeah, those would be the weakest. I've worked on them, and I'm still working on making them stronger. Um, I was doing a lot of Nordic eccentrics, because when it comes to doing Nordics, I'm like up there. I can do weighted Nordics. Um, Before I came to university, I was able to do 10 Nordics like back to back to back. Um, so I'm definitely used to doing Nordics. It's like for me, it's like doing push-ups. It's really not that hard. That's why I ended up doing them weighted when I came to university. But I would say my hamstrings aren't the issue, because I thought they were, and I trained them recently thinking they were the issue, but I realized the issue started from the adductors. My hamstrings are quite strong. I thought it might have been that my quads grew too quick for my hamstrings to keep up. I don't think so, because yeah, sure, I did a lot of squatting, but I also did like a crazy amount of what do you call it, Olympic lifts, and that puts a lot of strain on the hamstrings in a good way. So my hamstrings definitely aren't weaker than my quads by what do you call it, by a country mile, or by an amount to cause like a deficiency in my body to cause a compensation to result in an injury. So if that's the case, the injury can't be stemming from something I didn't do, which was RDLs. I was thinking at the time. It stems from the muscles surrounding it being too weak, forcing my hamstring to do more work than it's supposed to. And that's shown by the fact that I'm running even faster than 699, I'd say, right now, and my hamstrings aren't strained. Like, sure, there'll be some strain on my hamstrings. That's normal. That's natural. Especially after my injury. So me doing anything will aggravate it, especially when you're sprinting. But it's not to the point where it's there day after day after day. Like I feel pain and it'll fade away because I'm not overusing the hamstrings. I'm using them maybe a bit more than I'm supposed to, but I'm using them way less than what caused the strain at the time, even though I'm producing with my power. I would say the fastest 60 I've done, unofficially, obviously, is probably about 695. I can't give you any hardcore numbers. I can't give you, I can't say I tried to record the, like, try to see the time on my phone in one of my races or anything. I know roughly I can run like a 695 in a 60. For a fact. So next season, I expect to be able to run like that at the slowest, pretty much. And that's the focus. But for next season, I actually don't want to focus too much on acceleration because I would say my acceleration is quite cool. But if I want to like push beyond, my main focus now is mainly on just technique. Yeah, technique. And then what we do in the hips. If the hips aren't helping me, they're hurting me. So I need to make sure they only help me. Because people that can run like a 6.6 or faster in a 60, or like a 10.4 or faster, they have a very strong understanding of how the hips move for their body and how to use the hips to allow them to produce the most amount of power. Something that I'm not that good at. I can do it for a bit, but I can't do it through the rest of the sprint phases beyond the drive phase. And even then, I wouldn't really say it's too efficient because I'm just rushing my steps. Um, I'm not getting enough hip extension. I'm probably getting enough hip flexion, but it's a bit too quick. It's happening too early because we're not waiting for the hip extension to come. So stuff like that. Stuff like that. But maybe I'll sleep. But acceleration is going to be on the back burner for once this season. Still going to do a lot of work on it, sure, don't get me wrong, but I want to focus more on top end. Because I am a speed merchant, speed demon. Yet, for the last 2 seasons, it's been the exact opposite. That doesn't even make sense. But it does when you consider the fact that when I'm in training, the thing I focus on the most isn't my top end, but my acceleration. That's been the case for the last 2 years. So if I was to focus on more speed stuff, the result would naturally change as it's supposed to. So that's going to be more of the focus. Okay, so okay, I'm a power of 10. I'm still proud. Don't get me wrong. I'm proud of what I've done this season, but I know I could have easily done more. Why am I stuck at my what do you call it? Why am I stuck at my season open times? It doesn't even make sense. Like this is the first season where that's ever happened. Though usually July, August is where I'll change that. And I'm hoping I can prove that I changed that tomorrow. Yeah, I'm tired. Because I wouldn't even say I understand the technique to the greatest degree yet. There's a few things that I'm considering trying out. But I know I'm definitely faster than my PB. As long as I can move in a way that would promote that. And that's the video, the live stream, however you want to call it. So I'll wait for 3 more minutes, I think. It's just so I can answer any more questions that you guys have. The questions will be answered for probably longer than 3 minutes if you guys have any. But if you don't have any, then that will be the video. So until 5:02. Imaginary watch. Or unless people like leave. There's 4 people here right now. If everyone leaves, then I can leave. I'm tired. But I'm not hungry, that's weird. I've been working all day, pretty much. So I need money for my coach. So I need to work hard. So I can afford him, so he can do his magic. One more minute. And that should be 3 minutes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh wow, I was actually right for once. Yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. That would be episode 4. I don't even know. I haven't actually had time to do my latest videos because my Mac is gonna die because I don't have my right chargers. So I can keep editing today. But my next video will be episode 40, right? Yeah, episode 40. SAL. And that is a meet. So stay tuned. That'll be out on Wednesday, I believe. I have to edit that right now. We edit that right now. Just need to finish up. But yeah, that'll be out Wednesday, 5, I think. 5 p.m. So enjoy, and I'll see you guys then.